Hello everybody to the UKSA's.com Battle Racing League. We are in round 2. We are at Silverstone. The format for this race, as I remember you all, is a short qualifying plus a 100% race. We're waiting the drivers to load and we'll head into qualifying very soon. Waiting for Judah's race to load. We are at Silverstone for the round 2 of the UKSA's.com Battle Racing League. The sponsor of this league is, as I told earlier, UKSA's.com Battle Racing League. We are going to give 3 code to have a discount on that website of a 10%. The code will be announced during the race, so stay tuned. Waiting the drivers to come out of the pit. I'll tell you something about Silverstone. This is a 3.6 mile circuit. It has 18 turns, 10 to the right, 8 to the left. It doesn't have quite a hard braking point, just the slow one, which only put down 2 gears. We have already the first comments. We're fans for Fred Nolasco, who got P2 the last race. Hopefully going for the win. We have the first driver coming off the pits to start their laps. Let's go on board with Barksel the Hood. We have some fans for Simopets, who is the leader of this championship. He won the first race with fastest lap in Hungary. As you can see, some drivers, that's a little bit of a mistake, but it won't cost much. Many drivers are going with a medium tire. Maybe to think about an alternative strategy, or probably doesn't want to waste the setup of soft tires to use them when the track is more rubbed. Let's get on board with Chanak 007. About to start his lap. Slight lock up. The club chicane. And then on to the power to start the first sector. 8 gear. Easily flat out. Then left. Braking when the curb starts. Slightly lock up. Not the best lap I've ever seen. Just need to be a bit more tidy. That's the end of sector 1. And he's probably aboard the lap. Let's go on board with Luca, who's about to start his lap. He's on a soft tires. Let's see if there's someone else Let's go on board with Fred Nolasco, who has many fans in the chat. He's on his lap, his first attempt. He got a purple middle sector, quite nice. Bartolu Hood with a 128.7 goes fastest. Godzilla maybe in the way of the lap of Fred Nolasco into the club chicane, 4th gear, 5th, and then easily flat out to the line with a 125.8. A good banker for the Renault driver to start the qualifying. A big shout out to everybody who is watching. Thanks for being here. Let's go on board with Clay. Oh, he's not on his lap, so let's change. Oh, let's go with Simopets, the leader of this championship, who won the first race in Hungary with quite a big margin, and also the fastest lap. Hopefully he's not gonna hold up by Chanok, and he does. He's gonna over to, and that's a collision. That's what we don't want to see. Chanok got a 5-second grid penalty, collision with Simopets. And I have to say, this is a mistake from the Haas driver, because he completely shunt into the Ferrari side. Quite unfortunate for both drivers. You really need to watch for the other drivers starting their laps. Let's watch Musen. He aborted his first lap. Is now on the second lap on these soft tires. Really long sweeping line to get better traction going into Copes, who has to be flat out for these drivers if they want to fight for the pole position. Then the most famous sequence of cornering of the F1 calendar, Beckett's. Down 2 gears. Onto the straight. Purple middle sector for the Red Bull driver. Quite an hard corner. One of the only big breaking point into the club chicane. Almost in the wall. It just touched a little bit, and it's P8 with a 128.8. Many people are in the box right now, in the pit, changing tires, adjusting their setups probably. The race is gonna be sunny. Let's watch Tibran in the Alfa Romeo. Was already 3 laps on the softs. He probably should have a box earlier. Then a supporter of Simopets in the chat. Probably that's why he's so consistent. He's so focused on get this spectator happy about his performances. You can see the Alfa Romeo driver preparing his lap. I think it's one of the most critical things. And you can see Miss G Hammer time has just been disqualified from the session, so it's gonna start dead last. as T. Brand goes into the pits. It's probably also the Red Bull driver. Let's go on board with the Racing Point driver from next year, the Aston Martin. Will look quite better with a dark green. As I was saying, the outlap, it's really important in this game. You need to not burn the tires. You need at 0% to extract the best in the push lap. That will gain some 10th as the Racing Point driver aborts his lap. Let's go on board with the Italian driver Godzilla in the Red Bull. Was in the first sector. Quite a tricky braking point there. And Gigia 81 set the second fastest lap. Is the second account of F1 Warren. Godzilla is on the medium tires, looking for the alternative strategy. Being a 100% race, you must choose your strategy very carefully. It's so important. Even if the tire degradation is not that high in this track, in a 50% race you can easily do a soft to medium strategy. Let's see how it goes into Beckett's. Nicely done into the track limits. Is a flat out. Needs to stay really on the right. Very well done for him. Trying to maximize the corner. And it'll be a much better time than before, which put him P6, because Julius Race has just put the fastest lap with a 1:25.7 in the Mercedes. The Italian driver showed us a good pace, and more than him, Simopets with a 1:25.0. That's a really nice backer for him after the collision with the Haas driver. As I was saying, Julius Race put us a good performance with P4 in the quali, as I remember, if I can remember well, and also P3 in the race with a very consistent racecraft. As I was saying, the in lap is important, as the out lap you can see the Ferrari driver is really taking his time to get back into the pits. That's because he doesn't want to burn his tires. You do want to do that during the race, not during the quali. Because if anyone is new to this Formula 1 game or the Formula 1 world, you start the race on the compound you qualify on. You do where you do the best lap. Let's see, someone who's on a lap. Fred is going to the pits. Let's get another time aboard with the Red Bull driver, Musen. They take quite a tidy line. You really have to go for it in this Copse corner. A bit too wide, yes, to backside of it. He's not gonna get the most out of it. Beckett's 2 gears down. The optimal is 6. 8 gear. In the real life, this corner really smack you to the side of the cockpit with high G-force, probably around 5 Gs. Next lap we'll put him P10, P11 as I said. Let's go on board with D Power, the McLaren driver. We just head into the first sector. A lock up, but nothing that costing much. I want to remind you all, this is a no hasses league, and D Power backs out of it. This is a no hasses league, so anyone is running with the same rules. No racing line, no ABS, no traction control, which make it really hard. As I said many times in Hungary, you really have to work your racecraft, your consistency, because you do want to minimize the errors, the spins. You just want to have a clean race, and you will get easily in the top 5, top 10. That's because it's a 100% race and many drivers are going to do mistakes. Let's go on board with the Renault driver, Barks Little Hood. Let's commentate his lap on Silverstone. 6 gear, 7 gear, hot lap. Really go for it in this first turn. Brakes when the curb starts. 4th gear to minimize the wheel spin. 2 gears for the extra rotation. 3rd gear, 4th gear. Flat out till the braking point. DRS wide open. Staying to the right. Braking 100 meter bores. Really touching the curb. 2 gears to have the extra rotation. We have a change of host. 5th gear, 6th gear. And then into copse, one of the most difficult corners without the racing line. Really nicely done. Easy flat out for him. Then we have maggots. And then the 2 Beckett's. Wait a bit on the left. DRS wide open. You really have to push your throttle pedal to the limit. 2 gears down, 3 for him. Then to the club chicane, braking 100 meter bores. Taking the curb wide quite nicely. Then into 3rd, an easy flat out here to the line, taking the shortest line, and it's P6 for the Renault driver. Quite a big effort for him. Nicely done. D Power is back into the game, thankfully. Quite a good performance for the Renault drivers, who are in P5 and P6. Let's watch the Simopet's lap, his last attempt. Let's see what can he do, if he can assure his pole position with 7 taps clear of the second driver, which is happy 333. Let's see how he goes into maggots and Beckett's. Quite a tidy line, very nicely done for him. We call him as the simulator because he's just so consistent, he's over the moon. Really carrying much speed into the club chicane, attacking the curbs, and it's at 24.6 to the line. It'll be quite easily pole position secured for the Ferrari driver. Happy goes into the box, into the pit, sorry. Julius Race about to finish his lap. Let's see if he can manage to get P2, and he does with a 125.4, snatching the 2nd place and the front row from the McLaren driver. And we have only Chanak who has validated his lap. complete the qualifying session. So we have Simapets in first place, Julius Reyes happy, Giga with F1 Warren, known as the Hare. Then Fred Nolasco and Barks the Hood, very nice qualifying for the two Renault driver. Then we have Deep Power, Luca, Godzilla, Tibran, Heisenberg in the Ferrari. Quite a shock to see him on P11 because he got in the top 5. And don't worry the rest out of it. Chanak finished P17. Then we said Luke 98, Godzilla, Tibran, Heisenberg, Muhammad Graham, Muzen within his Azordim, Dundim, Snaglethith, Clay, Chanak, Mason, and last Mr. G-Ham Hammertime, who got disqualified from the session. We don't know why. Before the race will get started, we'll have the lap. Well, we are going to celebrate Richard Green, who was a friend of Deep Power, and he sadly lost at only age of 45 years old, and we remember with loving memory. And we're really sad. Everyone in the Discord chat was really taking care of Deep Power, and we were really helpful with them, and that's why the drivers are gonna show up in a symbol of memory of him, driving in pair next to them in his remember. They're adjusting their setup now. And I'll be quiet for the formation lap in memory, as Richard Green, as I said, a very kind friend of Deep Power, he was. And as you can see, they're gonna go in pairs in loving memory of Richard Green, and I'll mute myself till the finishing of the formation lap. a very nice touch from the drivers to remember Richard and the old UKSS.com Battle Racing League is going to remind him and dedicate this race to him as the drivers line up into the straight, waving at him. And now the AI takes control of the car and they're gonna line up to the grid, and we will back to racing, to commentate racing, and hopefully I'm gonna let you enjoy this 100% race around Silverstone, these 52 laps around Silverstone. The strategies, as you've seen, is soft to medium or soft medium to medium. And we will get on the way very shortly. And we have 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light. It's lights out and away we go. Simopets get a very nice start. Julius Race right behind him. Giga overtook Happy into the first corner. The McLaren driver going really wide. Let's see. The driver are really swapping places. The Happy lost fifth position. Now 4, now 2, now 3. They're battling for the second to 6th place. Fred Nolasco got a 5-second time penalty for collision with Heisenberg. Is now dead last. And he has to rewrite his all the races. Now P19, 14 places lost for the Renault driver. Let's see some close battles up in front. Deep power in the McLaren sandwiches the Renault driver of Bucks Little Hood with Happy 5th place. Let's see who gained most places out of it. It's Luca 114 with 4 places. And we have also Clay Racing who gained 6 places, and also F1 Masons with 6 places. Mr. G Hammer Time lost any time whatsoever and gained 5th place, being starting dead last because he got disqualified. You can see we have the strategist. It's gonna be probably soft medium or soft tough medium. Deep power real close to the Renault driver. Really want to attack him already in the second lap of the race. Is he gonna go for it? Around the outside? He's not. He's gonna back out of it. He's gonna wait until the straight. The standings are a bit glitched. We know for sure that this is battle for 6th place. By the start of next lap it won't glitch anymore, so don't worry. Let's focus up on this battle more than the standings. We have T Brown already in the pit, probably swapping his front wing because he got damaged and spun probably. Barks is now getting into the rhythm and get a bit away from the McLaren driver, and he goes wide and he lost the place. Is he gonna lose the place even to the Red Bull driver? He's carrying a lot of speed, overtake on, but he won't get him on the straight. Really sad mistake for the Renault driver. He got a really nice qualifying. Hopefully he's gonna convert it into point finishing. Julius Race with a 130.5 show his strengths to Simopets, who is probably gonna have a rival in this race. Simopets going wide, is feeling the pressure. We have a yellow flag up ahead, it's the Haas driver of Chanok 007. Wasn't complete yet the second lap, and he's gonna do it right now. Let's go to watch some close battles. The AlphaTauri of F1 Mason just behind Clay Racing, and the Haas is already an overtake on. He backs out of it. We have a yellow flag into sector 1. It's probably still Chanok. We have also Mr. Jiham 3 times right behind the Red Bull driver, who is disconnected sadly. Hopefully he's gonna come back into the race and take control of the car. You can see he's really slowing him down into the back section. Overtake on. The DRS is not available. It's gonna be available by the start of the next lap. The McLaren driver will happy will benefit on the back straight. Running in 5th position, looking for 4th. Maybe come back into the podium places where he qualified. We can see Luca with the red light flashing. Oh, little mistake from the McLaren driver. Is he gonna lose the place from Deep Power? No, his teammates is way back. He's gonna gain time. And we lost the overtake of Deep Power on Baxel de Hood. Sorry for that. We can see that Fred Nolasco went into the pits right now. He needs to rewrite his race. The driver who got P2 in the first round is now in P17. Oh, luckily the Red Bull driver comes back into the race with a bit of lag of Simopets. I wonder if he can stay into the race without crashing out. I hope so, really hope so. Well, Luca really close to the Mercedes driver, who I remember is F1 where he's going around the outside of turn 4. Is he gonna handle it? He has. Really a bold move from the Aston Martin driver, who takes P3 and is already 8/10 clear of the Mercedes driver. Really a good move from the Aston Martin driver. That's what we want to see. Really nice overtake for the third place. I remember all this is UK SA's Dakar Battle Racing League. The winner of this race will get £50, and we have a total amount prizes of £3,000. Oh, Snaggletooth, that's so unfortunate. He got disqualified from the session. He's gonna be dead last very shortly, and he is. And that's his race over for the Williams driver. That's very unfortunate. We had a disqualification in the qualifying for... I remember who was it. It was Mr. GM Hammer time. Let's watch... let's watch the... Yeah, exactly. The wheel. The tires are they on, but let's put a gap between the driver. There we go. We have the soft runners, who by the computer are going to make around 20 laps or so on the soft tires, or if they want, they're gonna go to the soft to medium strategy. Let's see if Warren can handle with Luca battling for third place. We have a full Italian podium as it stands, with Simo Pazzi first place, who won the first round, Julius race, and second who got on the podium, and Luca, who had a very unfortunate race in Hungary, qualified in P3 and then lost his car and also the race on the first lap, and didn't manage to climb the field up. We have a close battle for P11 between Mr. Jihan Hammertime, who gained 9 places from the start on the medium tires. Also, that's really good job for him, for the Williams driver. He has all the weight of these teams on his shoulders because his teammate Douglas has been disqualified. You can see Mr. Jihan is really close to Clay Racing, who seems to have a problem. He has his red lights flashing, and they're probably gonna go 3 wide into Stowe. Let's go watch onto television camera. And Mr. Jihan Hammertime got a place as Muham. It really reminds me of the overtake of Michael Schumacher and Akinen into Spa-Francorchamps onto the Calma Straight. And Clay lost 2 places in a matter of a straight. It's gonna be furious, and he probably wants his position back. That's a really 3-place battle for P11, P10 actually, just for the last spot of the points. I remember all the first 5th will get a prize. The first one is gonna get £50, then the second with 30, the third with 20, then 10, and 5th and 5. There are prizes also for the constructor and the driver standing, as the drivers are going wheel to wheel into Cup, and Muham Graham needs to back out of it. Is he gonna try to overtake into Maggots? It's not, because you can see his opponent have the red light flashing. It must mean he's under 10% of ERS. He doesn't have the DRS as Muham, and is gonna be a sitting duck, and the AlphaTauri driver gets into the points. Wow, that was a really nice 7 laps to start. We have also the McLaren driver Happy, really trying to get into a good spot to overtake the Mercedes driver of Giga. Who's in 4th place, 6 tenths into the Luca Duras, who got this marvelous overtake on him into the first sector. We are into Beckett's. Oh yeah. Yellow flag in sector 2. That's the AlphaTauri or F1 Mason who gets into the sand. This is an old school track layout, and we have sand out of the curbs, so it really has no room for the drivers. Does really not have room for mistakes. As Chanok left the session in P16, hopefully he's gonna jump back in. But let's watch some battles. We have Miyago going for P11 on Clay Racing, who is really struggling on these soft tires. They're going wheel to wheel into Stowe. The Haas driver is got a much better line, braking quite late, much more than the Racing Point driver. Both locks up into Club Chicane, where they are now. Overtake on, is gonna go for it on the first turn. It's gonna back out of it. Very smartly done, because that's quite a suicide to go for that move. Clay looks really struggling. his race pace doesn't look quite best. Hopefully when he switched to the medium tires his pace is gonna show up as we saw in qualifying. He's really waving around. It doesn't benefit his tires because they're gonna drop off quite early. We have an overtake. We have Mark Luhoud who overtake Deep Power, who has gone off the track, and Simopet sets the fastest lap on a 1:30.0. Mark Luhoud running controlling P6, and Fred Nolasco in P15. They swapped places from Hungary. I want to remember that Fred Nolasco ran the all time in P2, and because of an accident, is now in P15, working his way up to the field. Clay Racing is now P14. He's lost other 3 places. Really sad for him. But the race is long. We have still 42 laps to go, so everything can be done. And as Deep Power goes into the pits to change to the hard tires, that's quite a bold move. Are they gonna handle to the end of the race? We will see from his lap times. Let's watch some close battle into the track. Happy, who's just about into the DRS range of Giga, where maybe all is F1 Warren with a second account. We're on lap 10, and I want to show guys I want to say the code that will get a discount on ukss.com. The code is Reno15. I repeat, Reno15. And if you want to have a discount on ukss.com, who is the sponsor of this league, you just need to type Reno15. I'll announce it. On 2 other laps during the race. Well, we have this really nice battle for P3, the last left of the podium, between the McLaren driver, the Mercedes driver, and the Aston Martin driver. Way behind we have the Renault driver Mark Luhoud, who is currently very nicely in P6. Then the Italian driver of Godzilla in P7 on the medium tires, and he's gonna catch Mark Luhoud when they're gonna swap tire compound, and we will see that battle going through by the half of the race, maybe in the end. We have a really nice spot with Mason, who's going on Miyago on the Aston Martin driver. Keeps really nice onto the left. Very sportsmanship driving from both of them. Miyago is gonna have better traction on the soft tires, but Mason got better traction on the outer line. The Aston Martin driver gets none of it, and he's gonna put the overtake button on, but he has to backside of it. This is battle for P10, the last points spot. Ooh, that's a spin, and it's gonna be his race over with the suspension failing, the right one. He gets into the gravel. By the end of Beckett, that's show you how brutal is this track. And that's what we want to see in the real Formula 1 and also in the game, because you have no room for mistakes. Absolutely none of it. Not like the French GP or something like that, where you have a car parked for mistake. Eisenberg gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Was running counter in P15. That's quite a news, because he was running easily into the top 5. Miyago, after retirement, left the session. And we have the McLaren driver of Happy really sticking behind the Mercedes driver, putting overtake on. DRS wide open. Is he gonna go for the move? It's not the backside of it, but the Mercedes driver locks up, and the McLaren driver swoop into the 4th place and gets the move done. Let him through. Is now happy. He's gonna try to go for the 3rd place on Luca to go back where he was. Let's watch. Yes, the changes, the swaps after the qualifying session. Simopets and Julia's race car currently running in P1 and P2. Luca got 5 places. What a rocket start! Rocket first seat for the Aston Martin drivers, who gift us with a marvelous move on Giga. Then we have Happy, who lost a place. He lost many on the start, like 3 or 4, and he is now working the field up. Simopets got a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, as Musen and Clay Racing and other 3 people in the back of the field. We have a yellow flag in sector 2. That's the Red Bull driver who's Godzilla was running P7 on the medium tires. That's so unfortunate for him. He's gonna lose the place from Mooman, and not from Mr. Jiham one more time, but he's probably gonna have wing damage, probably. Let's see. Yeah, he has no flaps at all, and he's shot into the wall once again. Another driver into the wall. And that's the left back suspension that fails. And the Red Bull driver, who were running in P7, is now out of the race. He tried to go flat out without his front wing, without his flaps, and got punished by the track. And we have already 2 people out of the race. Sorry, 3, because Naglas got disqualified. Let's see this battle for P3, who looks like is gonna enjoy us for the rest of the race. We are on lap 14 and we have these 3 drivers in a matter of a second. Really? Ooh, Luca, his red light is flashing. He's below 10%. He was pushing really hard to get Happy out of the DRS range. But he's now within 6 tenths. Overtake on. He's really gaining and gaining, but not much to get the move done. As I said, on this track we don't have quite hard braking point zone, so you really have to pass the car on track to get the move done. Look at a wide line, but Happy is not gonna fight it. He does want to wait for the straight, but a very wise decision. Both drivers locks up. They're really struggling. They're really trying to maximize everything out of the car. As Clay Racing take a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Happy wants to get back on his podium places, getting gain on qualifying, while Luca wants to keep his 3rd place after a rocket start, who promoted from P8 to P3. That's really the battle that we want to see. It's really hard to get a move done into Silverstone, because after the maggots and buckets you have the dirty air of the car ahead, which really it's really a matter of fact in this game. But look at the speed of the McLaren driver, maybe also for the setup. The Racing Point driver goes defensive, but Happy swoops around the outside and gets the move down on the Racing Point driver. Is Luca gonna fight this? Ooh, really close to the back of the McLaren. He's gonna try to harvest a bit of the ERS, a bit of the energy recovery system, to defend also for the Mercedes driver, who is sitting behind on this game. If you're a 3rd man of a DRS strain, there is nothing much that you can do. You just have to sit and watch and wait for the other drivers to do mistakes. As Luca does a mistake and he spun out onto the gravel, and he's gonna lose many places. Let's see if Barks gonna take his position. He's not, but he's gonna gain a ton of time, and their tires are gonna be degraded as hell. And he's gonna lose also the battle for P3, and now we have Warren. He was currently in a second of the McLaren driver. He does want to stay in the DRS range of him. Sadly, we lost a competitor for the podium places. Maybe he can work the field up, close the gap, but it's a very wide gap of 13 seconds. You might think for the guys that are new to the sports that 13 seconds aren't that much, but it's an eternity. We have a close battle between F1 Mason and Mr. Jiham Hammer Time, both of medium tires. They are the best compound right now because the softs are really dropping off right now. They're gonna last maybe other 5 laps or so. Babin, the discount code is Renault 15. I'm gonna write it into the chat so everyone can have it, and I'm gonna write it down by the end of lap 40. Stay tuned to the race and watch it through, because we have a really good battle among the all places, but for the podium places between Giga and Happy, who's really holding to the DRS range. Happy does a mistake, he's going to the gravel. Is he gonna take the opportunity? He doesn't put the overtake on, he does now. The DRS wide open. Happy takes the racing line. Giga swoops down the inside. Simopets goes for the fastest lap. The McLaren driver take his position back. He said thank you very much, I'm gonna take the racing line. He goes defensive into the club chicane, and he's gonna hold P3, but he can't do that mistakes. We have seen people retire. We have seen Miyago takes the gravel by the end of the backheads and then retires, so he really needs to focus up, because he's gonna pay these mistakes. And I can imagine with Warren just about a 5/10 is gonna be a real pressure. T-Brown, 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We're seeing the first people to pit from soft to medium probably. Maybe it's a bit too early. You just want to stretch the soft tires as much as you can to have fresh tires out by the end of the race. Another lap goes, and the Mercedes driver of Giga, Warren, well known as the Her, is still behind Happy, who after the start lost 5 places and is now get back into the zone, into the rhythm, and back into the podium places. We have a swap of places between Fred Alaska and D-Power. Fred Alaska goes really wide. He probably got a move onto the Cup's corner. He's really working hard to get back into the points and back into the places where he compete. The top 5, we're seeing him in P2 last race, concluding with a quite a big margin to Julius, who got P3. And his teammates was really far back, was really far behind in P15, and now look at this, he's in P6. It's really improved in a matter of a week. Maybe it's also the track, maybe he like it most. I want to say that this league is absolutely wonderful because everyone is running without assists, so it's really difficult to keep the consistency over the 52 laps, and you really have to train for it or you're going to be devastated. We have a really close battle between F1 Mazer and Mr. G. Hammertime, who is desperately trying to hold this 8th place from the AlphaTauri driver. They both overthrew Clay Racing a few laps ago. Mr. G. Ham, as his red light flashing, it does mean that he is below 10%, and now we overtake a DRS wide open. He goes into the inside, takes the place very nicely down for the AlphaTauri driver, who is now currently in P8. Is the first medium runner, so it's gonna take big advantage from it and probably close the gap when they're gonna swap tires, the medium runner and the soft runner. Probably close the gap of 13 seconds. Eisenberg get a move on Clay, and as I said, that is spun onto the hard tire. He's gonna get to the pits. He does, and he gets also a 5-second time penalty. Not the weekend that Eisenberg thought, and he's retiring from the race. This is the 4th retirement. We haven't seen much in the last race, the first race in Hungary. Oh, both Simopeds and Julius Race are into the pits. Simopeds goes for the mediums, and also Julius goes to the medium. Oh no, that's not Simo, that's Eisenberg, was now retired, sadly. Let's see if his Simopeds is gonna respond to that, if he's gonna close cut the possibility to get an undercutted by Julius Race, who had to try that, an early stop to gain quite a big time advantage of a brand new set of mediums. Let's see if it's gonna go into the pit, and it's not. He's continuing. We have seen from him in the first race that he does want to come in his zone. He's not interested in the race of the others. He just wants to do his strategies, and the last race he paid off. Very clean racing from him. That's why we call him the simulator. He does really spend much time on it, and it's rewarding it because he won £50 on the first race, and if he managed to get a back-to-back win, he's gonna get another 50. As the Happy and Giga boats pits for medium, and they're probably gonna end up with this set of tires. Sorry for the notification, I can't do much about it. Also Berksfield Hood pits. These soft tires, I can only imagine how bad they were in these few laps, where Mooman tries to overcut his opponent. He has to do that because he has to close the gap, and he's really have to think about something else. We have a close battle between Fred and Lasco. He's on 17-hole medium tires, and he just got ahead of his teammates who went out of the pits as I speak. He's gonna put the overtake on. He is. He's gonna go down the inside of the Williams and gets the move done. Near the sign of a lockup. Very clean overtake from the runner driver. While Mr. G-Man, Hammer Time, tried to fight it back, but we have seen from the first race that the difference in the pace, it's quite a thing between these two drivers. He's gonna keep in the DRS range, sorry, for this back straight, and hopefully come a little closer. Muham is now into the pits. Let's see from Barksdale to Hood where he's gonna hand up. How? Simopets went to the pits as well, while Luca is still around on this 22 old soft tires. Barksdale to Hood 3-second time penalty. Hopefully he's not gonna take disadvantage from that. At least not too much. Movement comes out in P11, so nothing has changed. Everything is like before the pit stop. Luca is surely trying something else, because that mistake on the first sector really cost him a ton of time. And is now going into the pits. Let's watch some laps done by our leader, Simopets, who is probably gonna put a fastest lap on this lap on his brand new set of mediums. As I'll talk you through the rivalry of the teams and what their boss wants. A Giga with a 1:29.3, that's the fastest lap we have so far. But you can see the overtake on the Ferrari driver, and he's really thinking to smash it. The Red Bull driver let him pass quite nicely. That's fair play from him. Overtake onto the Cubs corner turn. Nicely done. Well in track limits. Then we have Beckett's 2 gears down onto the straight. Overtake on that's purple middle sector for Simopets. We're now going to the stow. 3 gears down, really high G's, then club chicane, the hardest braking point zone. We'll slightly lock up on the front left. 4th gear, 5th gear, onto the line with a 1:28.2, 1.5 seconds clear of Giga laps, last lap, showing his strength, showing his power, and showing why he's P1, and he got P1 in all session that we had in this league so far. But I want to talk you through the rivalry that the team boss declared. We have a Mercedes versus Red Bull as last race. The Mercedes are dominating this fight in P2 and P4. We're really tuning up for this race. Made a really a good step forward, and is currently just about in the DRS range of FP, who has a penalty. So it's virtually on P3. We have both Mercedes on the podium, and we really grab a big amount of points from the Ferrari, who has only Simopets in the points, with Eisenberg retired from the race after he spun exactly here. Let's go on board with the McLaren driver on deep power, who is in the DRS range of Mr. Jim Hammer time. Then we have a trio fight between among McLaren, Aston Martin and Renault. As it stands, we have two McLarens in the points, currently P3 and P9, with a McLaren of deep power yet to pit. He's on the hard tires. He might try to go till the end. I don't know if it's that possible. To the other 26th lap, it's gonna be an hard task for him, but he can assure him good points if he managed to. Then we have the Aston Martin drivers, with Luca currently in P5 after the mistake who cost him P3, and Miyaga who spun at Beckett's and shunted his car into the wall, breaking the suspension. And last but not least, the Renault drivers of Fred Nolasco and Barksdale the Hood were called in P6 and P10, but Barksdale has already pitted, so he's gonna gain the places on Fred, Mason, Mr. D-Man Hammer time, and also from deep power, because these brand new soft mediums are gonna really make a difference. And you can see the gap started from 4 seconds as the start of the last lap, and is now already on to 3.7. So the battle is gonna be really between McLaren and Renault for this trio. Then we have Ferrari and AlphaTauri. As the first race, there isn't that much of a battle because Simo Pezzi is currently first place, while the two AlphaTauri are P7 and P11. So just 6 points for the team. We have a yellow flag, and it's the other McLaren. It's the McLaren of Epi, who spun another time in the first sector and lost so much time and lost the third place from Warren, who's currently sitting P3, and the Mercedes are saying thank you very much, we're gonna take the 2 places off the podium. So Happy did the same mistake as Luca, and it's gonna affect this race. Let's see if he got damaged by that. It doesn't look like he has both flaps. He has. So if he has damage, it's not a major one, and he can continue. You can see he lost around 9 seconds to the Mercedes driver, and he also has a penalty, so he really needs to work hard to get that podium places back. Who will give him 15 points in the driver and constructor championship, and also 20 pounds as a prize. Well, let's watch the battle between Deep Power and Mr. G Hammer time in the stow, and Deep Power gets the move done. Mr. G Ham breaks quite early and can see that position, while the Renault driver Barksdale the Hood is now just 2 seconds away, so he gained a ton of time, like a 1.5 seconds in the last 2 laps, showing the potential of this new brand of mediums, while the Williams driver is still yet to pit. Chanuk is in the box, is in the pit of 26th lap on his set of softs, switch him to the mediums. They're gonna be quite fresh by the end of the race. We have 15 people running. We passed the half of the race. We're on lap 29.